Now this story is funny. It's embarrassing. But it's true. It's a true story, and everything about it is true. And I'm in the perfect mood to say it the way I want to say it. I might regret it later, but it's just a funny, beautiful story, and it shows how much of a idiot I can be. And if I look a little tired right now, it's because I am. We just got back from like a 5-week trip to Serbia, and the flight back home was like 3 hours longer than it normally was. And then we drove 2 hours from New York, and then I left my razor in Serbia, and then also my contact solution. So 2 nights ago or whatever, when we got here, I put my contacts accidentally in expired contact solution and damn near like burned my eye off. So yeah, if it looks red, it looked a little red in the monitor, and it looks red in the mirror. I don't know if it looks red to you guys. I don't know what else is red. Maybe my beard, the background. Oh, it is actually. I went to Serbia with goals, like to like fix my life, to get things back on track. I took all of these books with me. I took all of these with me thinking I was going to read them. Dude, I only read like this much of On the Road by Jack Kerouac, like that much of that one. And I also took with me my script that I was supposed to write at least 90 pages and finish by the end of the year, or like, what are you doing towards your dream? And I got stuck, and I'm at page 30, and I don't know where to go from there. First, I'll tell this story about, I don't know how I should tell it, I'll just practice telling it. I've told it a couple times, I've wrote it down, but you guys are going to love this story. I don't know where to start, but it started the second day I was in Serbia. So we got to Serbia, we spent the whole day chilling, and then the next day, I walked up from my wife's family's house to the local grocery store, and we hadn't seen our Kuma yet. Like, it's her best friend, her Kuma, and my Kuma from my baptism. And I hadn't seen her yet, and she lives like a couple doors down from Ksenia. Her name is Nina. And I'm walking up to Sunca, and I'm thinking, like, we're supposed to see Nina later that night because she's working. I don't even know what time it is at this point, traveling. And I'm like, it'd be funny if I saw Nina like walking down the street right now. But I was like, no, there's no way. But when I walk into Sunca, Nina is leaving. So she waits for me. I buy like a couple things, Stipici, these little pretzel sticks, and probably cigarettes. And I walk down the street. Now this story is funny. It's embarrassing. But it's true. It's a true story, and everything about it is true. And I'm in the perfect mood to say it the way I want to say it. I might regret it later, but it's just a funny, beautiful story. And it shows how much of a idiot I can be. And I don't want to use the words I want to call myself. But yeah. No, I'm fine. I'm fun. Look, I want these types of stories in my life. Let me get back to it. So we're walking home, and she's like, you haven't met my dad yet. I've been there 4 times, never met her dad. Her dad lives and works in Russia. And I've seen him over FaceTime a bunch of times. And so, like, as I'm walking home, like, it's like maybe 2:50. Formula One qualifying starts at 3 o'clock. And at 4 o'clock, I was supposed to meet her dad so that he could take us to Dren, or me at least. And so she's like, but have you met my dad? So I'm like, no. So we go in, and he's so excited to meet me. It's such a beautiful moment because he's heard so much about me. She was at my baptism. She was at our wedding, like, so we hug, I say a little bit of the same shit I always say in Serbian. Like, he's like, Dali pričaš srpski. I don't even think he probably said it more fluent than that. And I was like, malo. Dobro kad ja pijana, so that's like what I used every time. But so he's like, what do you want to drink? I'm like, Rakija, of course. Now, this is a thing you have to understand. If you're Serbian, you understand it. If you're not, like, whenever you go to somebody's place, they are the best hosts. And with that, always includes, like, them offering you Rakija. You have to accept coffee and water. You don't have to accept those. So the water is always just given. But I don't know why I'm going that deep. Don't need to. But the Rakija, you have to say yes. And so depending on where you go, people give you different versions. They could give you their grandpa's Rakija. They could give you the Rakija they make. The main one is from plums, Shliva. And so he's like, this Rakija I'm about to give you is strong Rakija. And I'm like, all right, And I don't know if he said he made it or he got it from somewhere he makes it or if it's his family's or what the deal is. But I'm just going along with it because we're catching up, just talking. I haven't seen Nina yet, so we're talking. And he I don't know what he pours himself because he says that isn't drinking much lately. So he like just smells this bottle, and it's in like a plastic bottle. And that's the thing I learned on my first few trips is people keep rakia in whatever bottles. Like at our wedding, my mom was getting ready with Ksenia at her house in the morning, and my mom was like, "Can I get some water?" And Ksenia gave her like a bottle of water from the fridge. It turned out to be a bottle of rakia. So my mom started the wedding day with like a shot of rakia from the bottle. So people keep it in whatever. This guy kept it in like a plastic water bottle almost, kind of large. And it had like a label on it, but I didn't think much of that. I'm too far away. I'm a guest. I'm just accepting whatever. And so he pours me this. I don't know what he pours himself and what he pours Nina, but we usually, we cheers. And then I drink it. I'm like, damn, that is the strongest stuff I've ever tasted. And it had a little hint of like some other stuff in it. And I was like, wow, this is strong. He's like, yeah, I got Yako. And he's like, da, da, And he's splitting sometimes in between Serbian and Russian. And even Nina's saying, like, we don't understand Russian. Jeff barely understands Serbian, and I don't. And so Nina was translating everything, And so I take a couple more sips of this as we're having this nice conversation about his life, where he's existed in the world. And he said that, he fought in the Bosnian Wars or the Balkan Wars, at least. And multiple times, he said on at least 2 occasions, Americans tried to blow him up when NATO bombed Serbia. I said, I'm sorry for that. It's a shame. It's a sad thing. I don't know why it happened. That's for another video. But at that point, as we get to a little checkpoint in the story, Nina's mom comes home. I've seen her many times. She's wonderful. And so she comes in and she's like, oh, cool, man. We hug and we say hi and, and it's nice. And she's sitting there and she's talking and then we get back to the story, and I see her go over to Nina's dad, and she looks at the bottle, and they start having like a little quiet conversation. And I look over at Nina, she's to my right, she's looking, and I hear her ask like, "Šta je ovo?" That means, what is this? And at this point, I can understand a little bit. I have health anxiety or whatever, so I'm like, what are they talking about? What is this? I'm like, Nina, what's going on? And she's like, there's this mumbles, and he starts to get this guilty look on his face. And they're looking at the label, and they're trying to, like, be quiet. And it's like, I have a picture of it. There might not be much B-roll in this video, but there will be of this. And it says, well, I can't tell you what it says because I can't read Cyrillic, but Nina, I was like, they tell me this is just like the rakia that's used to clean things. This is ethanol. It's not rakia. And at that point, I'm like, what does that even mean? And it's getting hot in the room, and I start sweating. And, I had just watched the Knives Out trilogy, like, right before I came, and I remember in the first Knives Out movie when he gets, like, allegedly poisoned, and because he's a writer, and I'm a writer, I start putting these pieces together. I have other crazy stories of me putting random pieces of information together in a way that they shouldn't be put together. So I start thinking, like, what a beautiful way to murder somebody. Give them whatever poison just in a whatever. So I start thinking that, and I'm like, Formula One qualifying's about to start. I gotta watch that, So I'm sweating, and he sees me start sweating, and they say no, it's okay. Like, his stuff is 96% alcohol, and it tastes like that. That's what it tastes like. When I said it had some taste other than rakia, it tastes like hand sanitizer, and that's what they use during COVID to like save themselves and to sanitize the doors and things is ethanol. Rakia. Strong rakia. So while editing this video, I realized when I was telling the story, I left out one of the more crucial details, which is that when Nina's mom looked at the bottle of rakia and it said ethanol, she went in the closet and found an identical bottle, and that one said rakia on it. So it's not like he just like grabbed ethanol randomly, they had 2 bottles and one of them said rakia on it. But I guess, I don't know, the label must have been turned the other way or something. So he just kind of grabbed it. Honest mistake. And then after that, you know, I did drink more Rakija. They brought out different Rakija, that actual Rakija. And then her mom had like some honey Rakija or something. And then later I found that people do get drunk off of ethanol because it's cheaper than Rakija, which is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So he starts getting really guilty, and I start getting really nervous. And I say, Nina, read this bottle, you know, tell me what it says. Nina gets real focused reading. Like, she tells me, no, you're going to be okay. And then she reads, and she has this worried look. So I'm like, Nina, am I going to be okay? She's like, yeah, everything's okay. Like, and I'm like, all right, maybe. And then all I want to do is run home and tell my wife, you know, that I might die. So I take a picture of this just for funnies, you know, take a picture just to have it in my phone, and I die. This is what I drank, you know. So I did that, and I ran out of there. I got real nervous. They told me everything's gonna be okay. He continued to talk about like the some of the war stuff. I felt bad. I was getting hit by all sides, you know, and I can feel myself like, you know. I'm still supposed to go to Dren and meet a friend later that night. And I'm thinking like, wow, I might have like 24 hours to live or something, because I'm thinking ethanol or methanol or whatever, you know. So I run upstairs, wake Senya up, tell her what I drink, and she just laughs at me. And so, you know, I saw him later, couple weeks. I told him, yeah, Jiv, you know, I live. So it just became a funny story. It was a nervous one for a little bit. I didn't get to see qualifying. I mean, I caught the highlights. But yeah, so that summed up my adventures there. Just no control. Just following along with whatever was going on. It was fun. It was a good time. The only other thing I want to talk about in this video is that very soon, I don't know how soon, I'll make a video. You'll see it appear on this YouTube channel. We'll be sharing our Serbian short film, One Night in Belgrade, that I filmed last year and finished while on this trip. It's a winter movie. Why release it any other time than the winter? It's just my excuse for getting it done now and not in the summer. But yeah, it is. It's a winter movie. It's inspired by the Before trilogy, you know, before sunrise, before sunset, before midnight. This one, I don't know, inspired by all of them, I guess. Just the style. We did a screening there of it. The music's not finished. I'll give so much more information once the movie is finished. But yeah, we did a screening of it, like maybe 15 people. That was a really good time. Just getting different people who worked on the project and who've kind of followed my stuff, or friends or anything, you know, there. It was a really cool experience. I don't really even have any photos or videos from it, you know. We lived it. So yeah, that film is called One Night in Belgrade. And yeah, I'm excited to share that. It's a romance. It's in Serbian with English subtitles. Yeah, I'm very excited to share it very soon. So yeah, till then, and until next video. Yeah, see ya.